A man was making love to a woman. This is good, she said, as she transformed into a monster. Soon that man was trapped in the creature's arms. Now I've got you, boy. You're going to hell after tasting paradise, said the creature. But the man thrust his mechanical arm into the monster's mouth, and with a psychotic smile said, "Looks like I got you." The blast echoed through the forest. The man put on his clothes and a black overcoat and left the monster, which ended up burning to death. Later, he arrives in a city and notices women and children being taken away, locked inside a carriage. In a bar, a group was mistreating a small elf, who was tied up, with a rope around his neck. "Stop moving! How am I supposed to hit you like this?" shouted one of the group members. The man in the black overcoat entered the place, approached the owner, and dropping a coin announced, "I'm going to make a mess of this place." Then he drew a sort of crossbow, and one of the men, the one tormenting the elf, had his head pierced by a bolt. The others looked around and rushed at the shooter, who attacked again, leaving only one of the group alive. The one who remained was struck by a bolt through the nose. The man approached, wiggled the bolt as provocation, and accused him. "You're a thief from Coca Castle, aren't you?" The man hesitated, confused, and the black-coated man slammed his head against the table and ordered, "Answer." Frightened, the man confirmed. "Now, would you be so kind as to send a message to your master for me?" "Tell him that the Black Swordsman has arrived," said the man in the overcoat. At that moment, someone tried to grab him from behind, so he drew his gigantic sword and cut the enemy in half. The sword was very large and heavy. It looked more like a chunk of metal than an ordinary blade. He then left. The elf managed to free himself and spoke to the man. "If someone saves you, you must follow them to the end. By the way, my name is Puck. Nice to meet you." The elf began explaining that he had been captured by the thieves, but the man interrupted him with a hostile slap. "Don't touch me, I'll crush you," said the man. The next moment, the place was surrounded by soldiers. He was captured and whipped, but didn't show a single expression of pain, which angered his torturer, who expected at least a scream. When another lash was about to strike, an authority arrived and ordered to stop. It was the mayor. He was shocked to see the amount of weapons the swordsman carried. "You're a mercenary?" he asked. The man replied only with a furious glare. Then the mayor continued, "Stranger, you don't know what you've just done. For killing those men, this city will be destroyed. You have no idea how terrifying their master is. He's not human. He's something horrifying, like a creature from hell. There's no one who can kill him, at least not a human." The swordsman, calm, replied, "I see. So that's why you made such a cold deal." But the mayor defended his city. A wanderer like that man couldn't understand. "I understand, I know. That thing is a monster that eats humans, I know very well. I also know that you sent food to it. When I passed through town, I saw a carriage full of women and children," said the swordsman. The frightened mayor said, "I'm the mayor. It's my responsibility to protect this city." The swordsman then asked with sarcasm, "Aren't you confusing this city with yourself?" While he spoke, the mayor began to feel sick and fell to the ground. "Do it! Hurt him as much as you can. I don't care. Just don't kill him. I'll have to hand him over to the men from Coca Castle later," ordered the mayor. Coca Castle. He carried an astounding sword. Taller than himself, he also dresses in black and has a mechanical hand. "He's a guy with a very suspicious look," said the one whose nose had been pierced. At that moment, the mayor arrived to speak with the monster, begging for the incident to be forgotten. offering more money and hostages. The monster replied with a terrifying grin. "You look pale. Maybe it's because this time you've got your own neck to worry about. Am I right, Mayor?" At that moment, the monster tossed a small piece of its meal toward the mayor. It was a human ear. The monster declared that it didn't care about money or hostages. It wanted to see humans running into the flames, and to hear men's bones crushed beneath horses' hooves. The monster's soldiers grabbed the mayor, who begged for his life. In his cell, the swordsman remained motionless. He noticed a sort of fetus nearby, which seemed to frighten him. "You again," the swordsman said. The fetus moved toward the man, who shouted, "Back, back!" Suddenly, Puck appeared with the cell keys, and the fetus vanished, as if it had been the man's imagination. Puck touched his wounds, which made him cry out, "Don't touch me! Don't you dare touch me!" But Puck only wanted to heal him, and he did. He asked the man's name. "Guts," he answered. He asked why he had come to this town, and what that emblem carved on his neck was. The swordsman said it was a brand. Puck kept asking more questions, but Guts didn't want to talk, and said that someone would come soon to kill him and burn this whole town. He showed indifference to other people's suffering. He didn't care if the whole town burned. He only wanted to kill the leader of Coca Castle. The elf asked why he had been saved, which made the swordsman laugh, for he had not killed the thieves for Puck, who, upset, struck the big man and, crying, left him. Then Guts tore his own arm with his fingernails, and then his brand began to bleed. "I was waiting for this," he said. The attack began. The town caught fire. Soldiers' horses crushed the people's skulls. The town's knights stood no chance. The monster drank the blood of a small group in half. There, amid the corpses, the Black Swordsman rose. He unleashed a rain of bolts upon the soldiers. One of them tried to grab him from behind, but Guts cut him in two, along with his horse, with his gigantic sword. Coca's leader, known as Lord Snake, finally confronted Guts. "So you're the Black Swordsman who's been hunting us," he said. Guts began to strike him with arrows, knocking him down, but he soon rose as if none of it had taken effect. Guts hurled him back once more, but when he approached, the leader had vanished. Suddenly, Guts was struck by a gigantic tail, which flung him away. The monster revealed itself as a huge humanoid serpent. Guts was whipped repeatedly by the creature's tail. It grabbed him by the throat. Then Guts fired the cannon in his mechanical arm, burning the monster's face and then cleaving it in two with his sword. Guts stepped on its head and riddled it with bolts. "Who are you?" the monster asked, shortly before seeing the brand. "This is the brand of sacrifice," he said. Guts then asked where the 5 members of the Hand of God were, but the monster swore it didn't know. Guts believed it and abandoned it. "Enjoy your slow death. I'll leave you to burn." Lord Snake begged for help, but Guts didn't look back. He left, leaving a trail of death. "You can't escape us," whispered cursed spirits that surrounded Guts deep into the night. Puck hitched a ride on a bird and was dropped in a tree. He searched for Guts. He soon found him. Asked what he wanted, Puck said these monsters were things he had only heard of in myths and poems, and he thought that by staying with Guts, he would always see new things. The man, impatient, gave him a blow, throwing him into the mud and warned, "Sorry, I don't want any pet. And let me tell you something. I don't like you elves." Puck asked why. Then Guts replied, "Because they're weak. It annoys me to see weak people. It makes me want to break their bones or kill them. Even being useless, they keep bothering me like a swarm of flies. It makes me want to crush them." Puck was sad and called Guts an idiot as he walked away. Guts continued his journey in the rain. A cart approached. An old man offered a ride, but the swordsman refused, for he did not get along with people. The old man insisted, saying it was better to accept than to catch a cold. "I'm telling you this for your own good. I'm being hunted by evil spirits," said the swordsman. The old man laughed. It was the first time he'd ever heard something like that. "Well, there's nothing to worry about. God is with me. Not to mention we've got a lucky spirit here," said the old man. That spirit was Puck, who was sitting on the old man's daughter's head. The swordsman thought, why not? It's not my problem what happens to them. Then he climbed into the carriage and dried himself off. "I was here first, so I don't want to hear any complaints," teased Puck. So Guts threw the towel at him. The girl offered a bit of wine to the swordsman, who accepted. She asked about his wounds. "Didn't you hear me? Evil spirits are after me," said the swordsman, which made the girl uneasy. "Are you serious?" she asked. They were interrupted by the old man, who told Guts not to scare his daughter. Then he changed the subject and asked, "That behind you? Is it a sword? It's big enough to cut a horse. When I first saw you, I thought you were a mercenary. Am I right?" Guts said it was something like that. To the old man, it was unbelievable how people were killing each other. Violence only breeds more violence. He told how his own son chose to live by the sword, left home for it, and 5 years later was killed on a battlefield. Just another insignificant soldier. If he had stayed, he would have had a life. He would have had a family and a home. What foolishness to throw life away like that, the old man said. The swordsman then replied, "So what's wrong with that? No matter what happened, he died doing what he wanted, didn't he? I think he was pretty lucky. Of course, life has to end someday, and it's better to die in the glory of battle," he said. Then he asked permission to rest a bit. The girl offered him a blanket, and Guts, exhausted, fell asleep. In his nightmares, Guts was watched by a giant eye in an endless corridor. He was tired. His brand began to bleed. "You can't escape," said the cursed fetus, chasing him. "You can't escape," Guts screamed, waking up. There was a monster in his face. He stabbed it and threw it near Puck. Everyone was shocked to see the creature. "It's an incubus, a malicious spirit that gives people nightmares and feeds on their fear," said the swordsman. The old man was in shock, and Guts mocked him. "So you believe in God, but not in evil spirits?" He revealed that he was being hunted because of the brand. It summoned them to him. It bled, and Guts ran outside, telling the others to stay in the carriage. Incubi are born from hatred, mixed with the blood and other fluids of dead humans, which means there must be corpses around here. The evil spirits will use them to attack me, said the swordsman. The horses became restless. The girl stepped out to calm them. "You idiot. I told you not to come out here," shouted Guts. Then the girl was pierced through by the spirits. The possessed corpses rose. Guts fired arrows at them, but it was useless. They were corpses. They couldn't be killed. The swordsman drew his sword and tore through several at once. Guts was surrounded. He attacked again, but it was useless. There were too many. They wouldn't stop coming. Puck went to check on the old man, but he had been decapitated. His daughter's body had also been possessed. She approached Guts. She walked toward him and stabbed his stomach. In response, he cut her in half. Another tried to grab him from behind, but he turned and cleaved him in two. Guts began to feel sick and vomit. He was being overwhelmed, but he didn't give up. He would break every bone if he had to. Finally, it was over. When the sun shone again, the spirits abandoned the lifeless bodies. Guts looked at the girl's corpse with an expression that mixed anger and sorrow. Puck said it wasn't his fault. He begins to laugh bitterly, saying that those who die in other people's battles are just worms. If they don't know how to live their own way, it's better that they die. Those two didn't have the strength to protect themselves from the destruction I bring. And that's what happened. If I had to worry about the insects in my way, I wouldn't even be able to walk, he added. A sound began to echo through the forest. It's useless. You cannot escape. No matter where you go, we will be there. We are always with you, always watching you. You belong to us. You are ours. Your blood, your flesh, your bones, your ears, your eyes, your heart. As long as you have that brand, you belong to us. Your anger, your sorrow, your pain, your fear, all of that belongs to us. The swordsman, consumed by fury and exhaustion, fired his cannon into the sky. And once again, he left. Puck looked around. This was Guts' life. And yet, he decided to follow him. There was a trial. A woman was accused of making a pact with demons. She begged them to believe in her innocence, claiming she was not a witch, but she was condemned and decapitated with an axe. The priest went to the governor's cabin and said, "Your Excellency, the prosecution was successful, but we've already executed 50 people just this month. I think we may have gone a bit too far. At this point, sir, you could be apprehended by higher authorities." The governor replied, "I don't care. Arrest anyone who appears suspicious of heresy. It's all for the good of my people. As governor, it is my duty to protect them from evil forces. I hope to give my people a peaceful life. I will not allow anyone to interfere." The executed woman's head had hit the city floor. Someone approached and picked it up. It was Guts. A soldier went toward him to retrieve the head. Guts smiled and spat in his face. Then he threw the woman's head in the direction of the governor. The soldier tried to attack Guts, who easily stopped him with a punch from his mechanical armor. Upon taking the head, the governor noticed that the brand of sacrifice was drawn in blood on the woman's forehead. Guts' brand was bleeding. He drew a line across his throat with the blood. Then he left, leaving a warning for the governor that he had been there to get him. The priest asked who that man was, and the governor replied, "The Black Swordsman." Interesting. I'll take that as a declaration of war. He lifted the woman's head and crushed it with his own hands, laughing all the while. Guts ran through the city but was quickly intercepted by a squad of soldiers. "You will be arrested for consorting with heretics. If you resist, we cannot guarantee your life," said one of the knights. Guts took down 2 knights at once. The remaining soldiers attacked and Guts sliced them apart. Crossbowmen prepared to fire their arrows, but Puck appeared in front of them, emitting a glow that blinded them momentarily. Guts then cut the support of the platform to the wall, causing it to collapse. "You're still here?" he asked. Puck said that now the swordsman owed him one. Puck was grabbed, but Guts broke the soldier's hands. After that, a huge man appeared, called Zondark. He attacked Guts with his warhammer. Guts moved back and the hammer struck only the ground. Near his feet, Zondark attacked again, but Guts dodged once more, and the hammer pierced a nearby soldier instead. Swinging the hammer to the other side for momentum, Zondark hit another companion, but Guts paid no mind. He fired at Guts, who barely dodged. The attack hit a wall, creating a large hole. Zondark attacked again, and Guts did the same. The warhammer collided with Guts' sword. The impact was so great that the hammer shattered. The shards flew, some piercing Zondark's own face. He fell, and Guts stepped on his head, then kicked him away. Meanwhile, a mysterious hooded figure watched the battle from behind some bars. He threw smoke bombs to blind the soldiers and called for Guts. This way quickly. Guts followed. Captain Zondok stood and ordered, "Kill him! Kill him!" Guts and Puck had managed to lose the knights, and now they followed the mysterious person. The townspeople locked their doors, frightened. "This place is creepy," commented Puck. The hooded figure said that everyone was on edge, because they never know when they might be accused of heresy. They feared not only outsiders, but also neighbors and even relatives. The people of this town were dominated by terror. They arrived at a place that seemed to be a laboratory. "What is this place?" asks Puck, before coming across a beautiful elf, trapped inside a jar, instantly falling in love. Guts says, "You've got quite the collection here. Aren't you afraid someone might accuse you of dabbling in black magic?" The small, mysterious man replies, "There's nothing strange here, just the doctor's junk." Guts asks who he is and why he brought him there. The little man says he saw Guts at the execution, and asks if he has something against the Count. Guts kicks the man's cane, making him fall, and says, "I'm the one asking questions here." The dwarf gets back up, and that's when we see he has no legs. The ones he uses are made of wood. He says, "I didn't let them capture you because I want you to kill someone for me. That demon. That bastard. That Count isn't human. He's a monster. He gave me these legs. This face. He cut and rebuilt my flesh. I know it's hard to believe my story." Guts replies, "I believe you. In fact, I know better than you what that Count really is." The small man pulls on a few bones embedded in the wall, and says he wants to show Guts something. A secret door then opens. Guts steps inside, and what he sees. He's stunned and says, "This is..." Reality. Thank you for watching until the end. I hope you enjoyed it. My Dragon Ball stories are still in development, and I'm not stopping them. But while they're not ready, I decided to tell you the story of Berserk in a super immersive way. I hope you liked it. If this video performs well, I'll continue this series until the end. If you've never read Berserk, but have watched some of the anime versions, you probably found the beginning a bit strange. The truth is, the first arc of Berserk was never adapted. That's how the story actually begins. And after a few chapters, it goes back in time to tell the story of Guts' childhood. This beginning was important for the author to establish the fantasy world and the uncomfortable atmosphere characteristic of dark fantasy right from the start. In addition to skipping the first arc completely, the adaptations also cut a lot of material from the arcs they did include. For example, the best fight from the Golden Age was removed from the only Berserk anime considered truly good, among many other things. Anyway, I ask for your support so that this project can continue. You can do that by leaving a comment, liking the video, or sharing it with that friend who refuses to read Berserk, even though you've recommended it 1,000 times. And if you'd like to help financially, become a channel member, or support me on Patreon, the link is in the description. Thank you all so much. I'm really hoping this video performs well so we can keep going. Thank you, and see you next time.